Today marks a turning point for Burkina Faso. With our $500 million partnership with India, we are bringing 1,000 state-of-the-art ambulances to our people. This is more than a healthcare project, it is an investment in life, in dignity, and in our nation's future. Together, we will ensure that every citizen, in every corner of our land, can access urgent medical care when it matters most.
Sirens scream through Ouagadougou's dusty streets. Traffic parts. People look up. A convoy of sleek, white ambulances glides by Indian-made, brand new. It's a sight no one in Burkina Faso has seen before. These aren't charity vehicles, they're high-tech, fully equipped, hardened for rural roads. They were delivered after President Ibrahim signed a $500 million deal with India buying 1,000 advanced ambulances. A project aimed at saving lives, creating jobs, and kickstarting the economy. What started as a desperate need for emergency response has become a high-stakes investment. But how did a middle-income African state strike such a massive healthcare investment with India? And will these ambulances be a lifeline or a misfire? To understand that, we need to go back to who Ibrahim is and why health became his battlefield. Ibrahim is not your typical leader, born in 1988 in Burkina Faso. He trained as a geologist and then became a military officer. By 2022, he led a coup and, at age 34, became the world's youngest head of state. He rose in the army fighting jihadist threats, serving with UN peacekeepers in Mali, battling insurgents in the north, and witnessing how poor healthcare cost lives on the front lines. He carried that memory into power when he took leadership. He didn't just focus on security, he focused on life in his first year. Rolled out free ambulance services and mobile clinics, hospitals gained new emergency response units, India became a growing partner in development, and Health Careth's ambulance deal then wasn't random, it's a logical leap from mobile clinics to a nationwide emergency network. Wanted to redefine leadership, protect people, not just fight wars. But buying 1,000 ambulances is one thing, deploying them across remote villages, rebuilding roads, training paramedics, that's another. And that's where the real story begins. In much of Burkina Faso, the average emergency response time is measured in hours, not minutes. In Ouagadougou, you might wait an hour. In rural provinces, it can be a day or more, or you might not get help at all. Expectant mothers trek miles to clinics. Traffic accidents often end in preventable deaths. Ebola outbreaks send paralysis through border areas. Ambulances on city streets are rare. Hearse-like pickups are more common. Saw this with his own eyes. When heavy rains flooded roads, mobile clinics turned back. When villages were attacked, casualties couldn't be evacuated fast enough. The healthcare system was holding, but barely. That moment fueled the decision: modernize emergency response and fast. But it needed financing, and it needed a partner who could deliver quality at scale. That's when India stepped in. India didn't enter this deal by accident. Historically, India and Burkina Faso have partnered in agriculture, solar energy, and training programs. India supplies pharmaceuticals and vehicles to Burkina Faso even before this deal. They'd offered 10 ambulances in past bilateral talks. Me India Wikipedia, but 1,000 ambulances for $500 million, that's a major upshift. It includes advanced trauma equipment, GPS tracking, telemedicine features, voice, data, and a state-of-the-art control center housed in Ouagadougou. For India, it's an investment in soft power and trade. 4. It's a lifeline and a statement. Burkina Faso can secure billion-dollar health infrastructure investments independently. Within 6 months, trailers arrived from India's factories, engineers trained local mechanics, emergency services expanded. The ambulance deal was less donation, more sovereign investment. Buying ambulances is one thing, reaching villages is another. Burkina Faso's roads are fragile, dusty routes that disappear in rainy seasons, bottlenecks in cities, military checkpoints, and conflict zones. An ambulance can't help if it can't get there. Government launched simultaneous infrastructure upgrades, fixing roads, installing GPS-enabled dispatching systems, updating mobile network coverage, and training paramedics. India offered technical aid, training African medics, dispatch operators, and even designing emergency response call centers with AI-assisted dispatch. There were setbacks. One ambulance got stuck in flooded mud for days, another broke down when its GPS failed, but mobile teams improvised, local communities pitched in, roads were rerouted, paramedic teams learned to navigate crisis zones. These days, test runs are under 30 minutes in many regions. Still work to do, but progress is breathing life into a national safety net. $500 million is no small investment. For Burkina Faso, it's a gamble and a bet on the future. The deal was financed through a combination of budget reallocation, Indian concessional financing, and lines of credit. Local companies were contracted to build ambulance hubs, service centers, and emergency warehouses, creating jobs and stimulating economic activity. Medical schools are now offering paramedic certifications tied to the new system. Universities teaching logistics and fleet management provide support staff. The economic ripple is just beginning. International partners are watching. Ethiopia and Ghana are asking how they can replicate this model. Donors are recalibrating. Health investments can now look like economic development too. Ambulances aren't just tools, they're incubators of markets, networks, and institutions. On the outskirts of Bobo Dioulasso, young Idrissa watched as an ambulance raced by. He'd broken his leg falling from a mango tree. The ambulance arrived in 20 minutes. He's walking now, healed faster than his grandparents could believe. In Djibo, near the Mali border, Amy, a new mother, started bleeding after childbirth. The rural clinic called dispatch, ambulance tissue bound through bush tracks, and she survived. The paramedic, trained under India's program, saved both mother and child. In Ouagadougou traffic, heart attack victim Salif got CPR on the way. At the hospital, doctors say his survival was because the ambulance hit the red light every time. These are stories beyond stats. They are the proof the investment works, and that change, once set in motion, can reverberate across society. Sirens still cut through Ouagadougou's midday calm, but now those sounds carry hope, not dread. Ibrahim $500 million ambulance deal with India was more than a purchase. It was a rebirth of healthcare access, of economic opportunity, and of Africa's power to broker bold deals. We started with sirens racing down a dusty street. We end with lives saved, infrastructure rebuilt, and an unexpected partnership that drove change, not charity, but investment in human life. In Burkina Faso, every siren now echoes with ambition, resilience, and a promise that every second counts.